Hello. Slightly different setup today. I have to use the computer today to see if anybody has any questions, like Crystal Shuffle Shuffle, because Ayana's in her class. I'm not going to teach you, Crystal. If you are here, say something in the chat so I know that you're here, and I can give you credit. Okay. A couple of things that I'm going to get to first before we jump into. I did say credit. I'll get to that. A couple of things that I want to jump into first is this. One, next week I will probably be sending an email about doing a class twice. I think we might be at a spot where we will only need to do it once. And then the weeks leading up to the 21st, we'll probably go twice a week. One time will be here on YouTube Live, just like this. The other time would be if we're doing class, probably using Zoom, because that way I can give you the notes directly. Those classes I'm going to keep shorter because they'd be PowerPoint-based classes where you look at the PowerPoint, you've got me down on the screen explaining to it. I'm going to try to keep those to about 15 minutes because I think what we've found is doing more than 15 minutes of notes really just doesn't work well for you. Good, I'm glad you're ready for the quiz. I'll explain that in a second. So actually I'll talk about it now. So quizzes. Yes, there is a quiz that's online right now. You can take that quiz, do well on that quiz. After today, what you'll start getting is you'll get quizzes at the end of the week. What I'm going to do with this is one way that you're going to get credit for this. Everybody always asks me about extra credit. Can you have, and I always say no, we don't do extra credit. But with the current guidelines that we've been given from the State Board of Education, it's that the work during the shutdown can be graded, but not, oh, there is, oops. The work can be graded, but it can't negatively impact your grades. So what I'll be doing is you will get a weekly quiz. I will put your scores together, average out your score, and that's how many extra credit points you get, right? I will count it as a quiz extra credit, so it will significantly impact your grade. If you choose not to do it, your grade's not going to change at all. Now, the reason I bring this up is there's a lot of people who their grades are in this position where they can be bumped up really easily. And that's what we kind of want to do, is make sure that one, you're learning some stuff, and two, that you're able to get some points for it. The other reason, and this gets to the question I've gotten a lot, is why do the homework? Why do the work? Why do all this stuff? Well, you're still going to get grades. Everything's still going to get inputted in terms of IB, even if you're not taking the exams. All the other things that you've done are going to be very important to make up your IB grade. So you want to make sure that you're getting stuff done for that reason. Also, what I always say is, I'm not teaching you things that are only applicable now. All of you are going to have to take a lab course science class, a science class with a lab in it. Everybody. Now, if it were me, and it was me at one point, I wanted to always try to seek out at first the classes that, okay, well, I know a lot about this science, so I'm going to take this class because I've got to take, this political science class where I've got 6 papers to write. You're going to be writing a lot more papers than you ever have been once you get to college. So if you can have the ability to take a biology class where you already know a majority of what they're talking about and it's just brush up knowledge, then that's good for you. It's to your benefit. So doing well, getting this stuff in your brains, learning this stuff will make it easier for next year, just because you'll be able to take that biology course that you already know everything. I will not be uploading any work for you or expecting any work from you the week of spring break, which is April 6th to April 10th. I won't be uploading anything unless somebody has a question, unless like a lot of people have questions, then I would. Seniors, most of you seem to not be having many questions. So, there's that. So covered Zoom, covered quizzes. One of the quiz points is going to be attendance, by the way. So the people who like commented as I'm going along during this video, I'm giving you an extra point. And then the people who just do the quiz, meh, they just get the number of points that are on the quiz. So that's the benefit of actually participating by watching the video when it's live, especially because you don't have to have a computer, you just do it on your phone. All you got phones. All right, that covers all of that. So let's talk about, can you see this? I hope you can. Oh, I can look. Yes, you can see it well. So here is my beautiful, terrible drawing. Crystal, shut your mouth about my drawing. This is just talking about that double circulation, right? So what we have is we have oxygenated blood, which I have flowing into the lungs. It should be flowing from the lungs to the heart. We'll flip that over. Right? So we have this oxygenated blood flows from the heart to the body. When it gets to the body, it loses oxygen because it's giving that oxygen to the body cells, right? The deoxygenated blood from the body then goes back to the heart, where it is pumped into the lungs. From the lungs, it gets oxygenated and goes back to the heart. It's a pretty simple. It's a pretty simple function. It's something that you have experienced, you know about, you've talked about, you've thought about, but it's really just looking at it directly. It's like this is one cycle, this is two cycles. But the blood always goes through the heart, whether it's oxygenated or 3 dividends for Crystal. Whether it's oxygenated, meaning it's going to flow from the heart to the rest of the body, or if it's deoxygenated, meaning it's going to flow into the heart and then into the lungs to get that oxygen that the rest of the body needs. I also have some lines in here that are in black. What these lines are, this is talking about the electrical impulses that get the heart to contract. Now, the SA node is right up here, and what it does is it sends an electrical impulse that gets action potentials started along the way. Now, these action potentials cause the ventricles to contract, right? And when they contract, that's the heart sounds. The sound of the heart is those valves opening and closing. But very importantly, this regulates our heartbeat. It's often referred to as an internal pacemaker because it helps that heart keep the pace that it needs. Now, this is an important thing because we talk about, we've mentioned defibrillators in class. That's when you're watching a movie and somebody looks like they're dead and they're like, clear, his heart stopped, and they try to electrocute him back to life. That's not how those actually work. How those really work is sometimes this SA node, the signal, the electrical signal it sends isn't correct. The electrical signal it's sending is off, and so that causes the heart to contract irregularly, maybe too fast, maybe just in a weird. So you give it an electrical shot to try to reset the system and get it giving those normal electrical impulses. Right now, the difficulty of explaining things is that I can explain the things that are in the notes, which is here we have this, and we have a 4-chambered heart because 2 chambers deal with oxygenated blood, and 2 chambers deal with deoxygenated blood. And in addition to that, I can tell you about how the SA node works to regulate heartbeat by sending an electrical impulse and working along those action potentials. But that's really all of the things that I can say to you that are either new or hopefully explain things better to you. But since we don't have that many people participating right now, is there anybody who has a question about what we covered, the reading? Did you do the reading? Did you do the work? How are you keeping your mind focused, Crystal? Marco, what are you doing in this time? Why is double circulation so important? Well, double circulation is so important because to the body, to the lungs, right? It involves both the heart and the lungs. No. It involves both the heart and the lungs, right? We have a separate organ that adds oxygen to our blood, and that's our lungs. If we didn't have that organ, then we could just have a single circulation where it's one pump in the body, the blood just goes through, it cycles through. Or if the heart somehow added oxygen to the blood itself, but the heart doesn't add the oxygen to the blood. The heart sends blood into the lungs, that's where it becomes oxygenated. That's all that I really have at this point. If you are one of the seniors who watches this video later, after it's already uploaded, one of the things that I need to urge to all of you is, I know right now in this time of everything's shut down, where can you go, what can you do? The easiest thing to do is to treat this as this shutdown time. I'm encouraging you not to do that. And I'm not even just talking about like doing work. It's not what I'm talking about right now. Find ways to stimulate your mind. Find ways to keep yourself occupied outside of just watching YouTube, sleeping. Watching YouTube, sleeping. Have various things that you do. The reason that I stress this, and the reason that I say this is, right now, we're not that far into this, and if you've been doing nothing but watching YouTube, you're probably already starting to get bored with it. If you're only watching TV shows on Netflix, you might be starting to get bored with it. Even if you're only reading the greatest book ever, there's a chance you're starting to get bored with it. And as this stretches from 1 week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks, concentrating on only doing one thing will make you feel a lot more bored. So I urge you, do things. Go for a walk. So double circulation is important because heart uses circulation to circulate blood to get oxygen. Double circulation is important because of this, Crystal. It's important because there's one part of the circulation that sends the blood throughout the body. And then there's one part of the circulation that really just deals with getting oxygen into the system. All right? So there's one type of circulation, brings oxygen into the system. One type of circulation delivers that oxygen-rich blood to the rest of the body. Okay? Later we'll look at fish and how it's different with fish, because they have single circulation, and there's a reason why they're able to have that. Part of it is because they're a much simpler organism. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, send me an email and I will try to explain it better. One part of circulation that deals with getting oxygen, one part is to deliver the oxygen to the rest of the body. Beautiful. Yes, because of gills. We should see if you have gills. We should throw you in the lake with weights tied around your ankles and see what happens. I think that would work, Crystal. Let's do that. Let's do that soon. Not right now, because we're supposed to stay at home, but later, eventually. Club, club. All right, so since you obviously don't have any more questions, keep working. We are going to... No, Marco's not going with you. No. We're going to finish up with heart relatively soon, jump into circulation. After circulation, we'll get moving on so we can get into, what can I think? Oh, immunity, which is, I don't know, somewhat relevant right now, talking about immunity, because we're talking about a virus that's going around, so why not talk about immunity? So that's what we'll be doing. Like I said, next week we'll have a class session. We'll have 1 to 2. The week after that will be spring break, so we will not have class sessions. So you don't have to worry about any work or any classes in that week. Since you don't seem to have any questions other than Crystal wanting to know whether she should drown or not, I haven't been looking at any assignments. I barely noticed that our assignments will be graded. No, it depends on how everybody's doing everything. Send a message, ask her how she's going to be grading. I may be doing these things where I'll be looking at quizzes at the end, but the assignments themselves, when we all get back together, I'll take all of the assignments. So possibly for math, she'll be doing something along the same lines. So you probably have a little bit more time than 2 days to do 26 pages. So I wouldn't stress about it too much. Okay, but yeah, do your work. Do your work. Do your work. All right. Have a good week. And I mean, I know it's only Wednesday, but I won't see you until probably Tuesday. I'll send an email about the next video, and then that is it. Oh, she said have them done. Haha, Crystal, do your math. Do your math, Crystal. All right. Well, upload it, Crystal. Upload it. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a good weekend.